This webinar is presented by Eric Garcia. Eric is dedicated to helping veterinary practices navigate today's digital world with a proven track record of helping practices streamline their technology and attract and retain new clients. Today, Eric is going to discuss today's most effective tactics for bringing in new clients to your practice, first-hand independent case studies from real veterinary practices that have successfully employed these innovative techniques, and 5 easy steps for simplifying the management of your online reputation. VetStreet offers a new client acquisition program that is designed to market your practice to pet owners who are in your area and searching for a veterinarian.
Thank you, Faith, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining me on today's webinar, where we're really going to go over some exciting tools that you could use in your practice to bring in new clients. We're also going to talk about simplifying how to manage your online reputation, which has been made to seem like it's such a daunting task. So we're really going to simplify how to do that effectively in your practice. And then at the end of today, we're going to leave plenty of time for question and answer to allow you the opportunity to ask me any type of questions that you have about any of the content that we go over during today's session. So when we talk about a tool that you could use in your practice to drive people into the door, one of the most important tools is your website. And it's something that a lot of practices do not realize. We know that 97% of consumers actually search for a local business online. So if your prospects can't find you on the web, then there's a chance that your new client numbers are not growing as excitingly as they should be. So the first thing that I tell practices when you're looking at bringing new clients into the door is you do have to look at your website. And more specifically, you have to look at the content that is on your website. You need to make sure that the content on your website is fresh and up to date. Most importantly, when you list the services that are on your website, you need to make sure that you describe those services. There are many practices that exist today where if I visit their website, I just see a list of basic services that they offer. It's important that you describe these services, the importance of having them rendered, and most importantly, how these services are rendered differently at your practice than your local competitor. Use this opportunity to sell your services to prospects and sell your services to your existing clients as well. I do know that the 2 most visited pages on a veterinary practice's website is the Our Veterinarians team or staff page. So you need to make sure that your team and staff page is up to date. Make sure that you have pictures of at least your veterinarians with a mini biography telling us who your veterinarian is, what their specialties are, if any, and one little fact about what they like to do in their spare time. The second most visited page is the About Us page, where people are looking to learn more about your practice in general. These 2 pages being the most visited pages on any veterinary practice's website tells me that people are taking the time to research your practice before they actually come in. We know that an average of 2 to 3 minutes are spent on these pages. So again, it shows us that people are really taking the time to learn more about you before they come into your practice. So make sure that these pages are up to date within your practice's website. The next thing that you need to do is review the search engine optimization data on your website. And when we talk about search engine optimization data, we're talking about 2 specific items: your page titles and your page descriptions. So those of you that have the VetStreet website, if you log into your VetStreet web builder, you will see this section that says SEO data. Then you'll have 3 options: 1 to put in a title, 1 to put in a page description, and 1 to put in your keywords. If you do not have the VetStreet websites and are using the VetStreet web builder, make sure that you contact your web design company and ensure that each of your pages contain these 3 items. These are 3 items that are crucial to making sure that your website and the pages within your website are properly classified and organized on each search engine. So the first thing search engines are looking for is to ensure that your pages have a title. Your page title should be no more than 70 characters, and your titles should not repeat themselves. So the title is to properly describe or to properly mention what the client is looking at on this page. The description is more of a descriptive informational section for you to put in to describe this page for people when they're searching on the search engine. Your page description should be no more than 150 to 160 characters. And your keywords is something that's not as relevant as it used to be. Keywords is something that a lot of practices take several minutes, a lot of time doing research and putting in a whole bunch of keywords into this section. And as of a couple of years ago, almost all the major search engines have acknowledged that they no longer look at these keywords anymore. So if you'd like to put in keywords, make sure that you don't spend any more than 2 to 3 minutes putting keywords in there. And you really, again, don't have to put keywords in there because they're not going to do your website any good. Again, most search engines are no longer looking at this information. So again, 2 crucial elements: make sure that each page of your website has a title and that the titles do not repeat themselves. Make sure that each page is properly described in the page description section. And again, we could ignore the keywords. But incorporating these 2 elements, along with making sure that the content is fresh on your website, will help you enhance your visibility online organically so your clients can find you. And if they do find you, they can learn why you're different than your competitors by reviewing the content that's specific to your website. Another new and exciting tool that very many practices are not aware of is something that's called Google Offers. Google Offers is not to be confused with Groupons or anything like Groupons, like many people have confused in the past. Google Offers allow you to create an offer for free and promote it across its search engine. So basically, again, you create an offer that you would like to attract new clients to your practice. It's, again, free to do this. You can pay to promote your offer with a minimum of $10 per month. Basically, when you pay more money, the more people that they're going to put your offer in front of. But it's important that I do mention that this is not mandatory to have your offer appear online. Paying to have the offer promoted is just something that you can do extra to, again, make your offer visible to more people within a geographical area that you set. And then again, you have controls of the offer and the details. So you can tell the system, Google Offers, how long you would like that offer visible for, or how long the coupon itself is valid for. You can tell the people that redeem this offer that they can only redeem it on certain days of the week. So what some practices are doing is they're creating offers that can only be redeemed on a, say, Thursday, which tends to be a less busy day for some practices. And again, you can set what day is least busy in your practice and have the offer only valid then to, again, attract new clients to come into the practice. And I say new clients, but you can actually have this for existing clients as well and push clients on there. But typically, I recommend practices utilize it to bring in new clients. And then you can select how many offers you want to be available. So if you're worried that thousands of people could use this, although if that were the case, that would be a good problem to have. But if you're worried that too many people might redeem your offer, you can set a limit to where maybe say you only want 25 people to be able to download this offer. And once 25 people download the offer, then the offer will no longer be available online. I do want to take an opportunity to, and actually kind of stepping back for a quick moment, an example of what an offer would be is if you offer a particular dollar amount of a new office exam, or maybe offer some sort of discount to provide clients to come into the door. And I will be first to tell you that there are a lot of practices that are hesitant when it comes to discounting, and I totally respect that. But if you're in a scenario where you do need to bring new clients into your door, then you might want to consider discounting to at least attract them to give you a taste of the type of service that you offer in your practice. So here's a veterinary practice who would like to remain undisclosed and anonymous, and the reason being is because they're the only veterinary practice in their geographical area that has a Google offer right now. So they definitely have the upper hand when it comes to their Google offer. When we did the case study, we looked at 6 months worth of data, meaning that the offer was promoted for 6 months. The actual offer was where the new client could gain $25 off of their new visit. We had a total number of, we had a total of 8 clients that actually came in with this offer as new clients. The revenue that was generated on initial visits from these 8 clients was just a tad over $1,200. Now, the only cost to the program totaled at $380, and the only reason that it totaled that much was because the practice did spend $30 a month for 6 months to promote their ad. Basically, they spent $180 to increase the visibility of this ad. We know that 8 new clients redeemed the offer, so 8 multiplied by $25 credit to each of their accounts cost the practice $200. Now, Google also said that 23 people have saved this offer to their Google account, meaning that there are 23 people that have either saved this offer on their mobile device or have printed this offer. So we still don't know how, if and when these 23 people are going to come into the practice. But at the time of this case study, 8 clients generating $1,200 with a cost of only $380. The total return on investment when you take out the cost and what was generated was $871.55, which may not seem exciting, but you do have to realize that you now have 8 clients that could potentially come in for returned visits or for sick care or emergency care. So what we don't know is the total revenue that was generated from these clients going forward. So again, 8 clients at a cost of $380 and a return on investment of $871 is definitely a good, is definitely money worth spending when it comes to this type of offer. There are other practices where we're seeing exciting case studies come in. Again, you don't have to pay to actually have this offer promoted, so essentially the only cost to you would be the cost of the program. To get started with Google Offers, I tell practices simply Google the term Google Offers, and once you Google it, you can sign up as a business, create your offer, and go ahead and play with it. Again, you can set the criteria as to when you want your offer to start and end, so if you realize that after a couple of months this isn't exciting for you, then you can end it and there's no type of contract or commitment or anything like that. But again, it's an exciting tool. Many practices aren't aware of it or how it works, but I'm seeing a lot of excitement and a lot of positive feedback from the practices that I'm working with. Now, another very exciting program to me and my clients is the VetStreet New Client Acquisition Program. It's the only type of product that's out there that exists in veterinary medicine currently. And part of my job, just so everyone knows, is to research all of the marketing opportunities that are available to veterinary practices. So if I'm speaking at a conference or one of my clients asks me, Eric, where should I be spending my marketing dollars? It's my responsibility as a web consultant to provide a positive response or a response that I know of a service that works. And the VetStreet New Client Acquisition Program was a very, very exciting when I was able to see the results that it produced for all of my practices. So what is it and how does it work? Well, basically, VetStreet acquires contact information for pet owners that move into your geographical area. So basically, VetStreet purchases from a reputable company the name, the address, and the email address of people who own pets that move into your region. The question typically comes up is, again, are they obtaining this information legally, and is there proper consent that VetStreet goes through? And the answer is yes. And a lot of people don't realize that you can buy databases of pet owners using companies like the U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, and other companies that exist. So that's what VetStreet does, is they acquire data legally, they pay for it. What they then do is they take that list of new pet owners that have moved into your geographical area, and they send those pet owners an email welcoming them to your area, and it shows your practice's contact information. What VetStreet then does is they integrate with your practice information management software to verify that the leads have actually come into your program, or into your practice, which is exciting to me because this is not just a program where you sign up for it and hope that it works, like a lot of the other marketing tactics that exist out there. You can sign up for it, and once VetStreet generates these leads, they'll look in your practice management software to see if any of these leads have actually come in. So you actually have a tool to see whether people are coming in for this from this marketing medium. And then you are sent reports of client matchbacks that are, again, provided to your practice from VetStreet in various methods. So to simplify, what the new client acquisition program does is VetStreet purchases email addresses and contact information for new owners that move into your geographical area. Then email is sent from VetStreet welcoming them to the area to the prospective pet owner, which then pushes them to your practice. So here's an example of an email that's sent out by VetStreet to these new movers. It says, if you're looking for a trusted vet in your area, very professionally put together email. From my understanding, they have an extremely low bounce rate, meaning that they follow all of the important guidelines when sending out email marketing campaigns like this to have most of these not come back as spam. So they have a very great success rate when it comes to sending these out and them actually getting to that pet owner and not being flagged as spam. It shows up to 4 practices that are on the program. If you have 4 practices that are on the new client acquisition program in your region or your geographical area, then 4 practices, but no more than 4, will show up on that email. There are a lot of practices that I work with where there is only 1 or 2 practices that show up on this acquisition program. It all just depends on where you're at and how many people are on the program. In my opinion, and I don't see very many practices utilizing this because they don't understand how it works. So definitely everyone here, it will get ahead of the curve, and again, we'll see how that works out. And again, it also directs them to vetstreet.com, which is an exciting pro-veterinary resource that endorses our profession. So here are 2. Now, unfortunately, we only have time for 2, but I have several case studies of the success of this program. The first most exciting case study comes from Veterinary Medical Clinic out of my hometown, Tampa, Florida. They were on this, the case study that we did was when they were on the program for approximately 11 months. So the program costs $100 a month if you are a VetStreet subscriber. So at $100 a month for 11 months, it costs them $1,100. The total number of new clients that they gained in those 11 months from the new client acquisition program was 50. The total revenue that was generated on just initial visits from these 50 clients was at $11,622 on just initial visits. I wasn't satisfied on just understanding what the initial visits were. I wanted to understand how much additional revenue was generated from these clients that ended up coming back in, whether it's for workup, routine diagnostics, dental services, whatever it may be. And the total revenue generated from these 50 clients as of September was $27,018. Now, this case study was enough for me to start recommending it to a whole bunch of practices that I work with. At $100 a month, it's very inexpensive and very exciting. But not all case studies have ginormous numbers like that. Here is Animal Hospital Berlin in Kensington, Connecticut. They were on the program for 3 months, or actually they're still on the program. They've been on it for a while, but the case study time period was 3 months. Within, again, 3 months at $100 a month, it cost them $300. They were able to generate 14 new clients in those 3 months. The total revenue generated as of July, and we're still in the process of updating this, was $3,100 from those 14 clients. And an update as of actually yesterday and circling back with the practice, we're able to see now that their new client numbers have increased by 10. So the number of clients that they've received on the new client acquisition program in a 5-month period is 24. And we're working on sorting out the initial revenue versus the returning visit revenue. Again, at $1,200 a year, generating $3,100 with the 14, we don't know what the other 10 have generated. It's an exciting program. Again, I have many other clients in other parts of the country that are seeing such great success with this program that it's exciting that we even have this available to us in veterinary medicine, and this being the only type of program that's available to us in our profession right now. So those of you that are on the new client acquisition program, or if you're not on the new client acquisition program and you're considering getting started, understand that you do have an ability to determine what your return on investment is. It's important that with any form of digital marketing that you use metrics and analytics that are provided to you to determine whether the money that you're spending you're receiving a return. So unlike many programs that are available out there, you do have the ability to determine whether this program makes money for you or not. And you're not provided fictitious information from VetStreet as to how much money they think it's generated. You can actually use hardcore numbers from your practice to determine whether this works for you. So the first thing is VetStreet provides you with what's called a match back report, which again, VetStreet will look into your practice information management software, and they will say, hey, these 10 people that came in as new clients came in as a result of a lead that we generated from the new client acquisition program. So you don't have to just look at the report and say, oh, these are the new clients that I have. If you don't believe VetStreet, then what you can then do is you can pull up these clients in your practice information management software. And the first thing is you need to make sure that the clients actually came in. So verify the client information, make sure that it matches with what VetStreet says. Make sure that the client actually came in as a new client during the specified time frame, meaning that if VetStreet sent that email on April 5th and the client came in at the end of April, May, or maybe a couple months later, make sure that the client came in after the initial email was sent by VetStreet. What you may find out in some cases is you might find out that VetStreet is telling you that they've generated a lead, and then you look in your practice management software only to find out that that lead was a previous client. Now, in my opinion, this is very debatable as to determine whether you should give VetStreet credit or not, and here's why. Because in some cases, you might actually have this happen where a client has moved out of your neighborhood, started going to another practice, or just stopped obtaining care altogether, and then have moved back into your neighborhood, and then VetStreet contacts them as a new client, and then come back into your practice. Basically, in my opinion, what VetStreet is doing for people who've moved out of your neighborhood and back in is reminding them that you were there. As obvious as you may think it is that a client that has moved out and moved back into your neighborhood might come to you, that's not always the case. So it's always nice to know that someone's going to send out an email reminding them that, hey, you were there. Calculate the revenue. Find out who these clients are. Find out how much money they spent the first time around that they came into the practice. And then calculate their total lifetime revenue, or the total revenue that was generated from that client in a 12-month time period. And then ask yourself, or look at the data and say, did this service pay for itself? So you can see that at $100 a month, it's going to cost you $1,200 a year. If you are not with VetStreet and do not use VetStreet Pro, or not a VetStreet subscriber, the program does cost you $250 a month. But still, at $250 a month, at $3,000 a year, you can determine whether this service has paid for itself or not, and the total number of new clients that you have come into the door. So again, it's exciting. It's a service that, in my opinion, is very inexpensive for the value that I've seen obtained, and you can determine for yourself if it works or not for your practice, because you have data that you can circle back to follow up with. So again, very exciting tool that's available to us in veterinary medicine. Now, we're going to talk about how to simplify the management of your online reputation. Simplify being the key word here. There are many companies out there that make it seem like the management of your online reputation is something that you can't do yourself and that you should pay them for. And so there are a lot of companies out there that are doing the 5 very basic steps that I'm about to do for you at an enormous cost. So my first question that I'd like to ask is your practice currently, what is your practice currently doing to manage your online reputation? Are you using an outside company to manage your reputation? Are you managing your reputation yourself? Or as of this moment, are you not doing anything at all? So we'll give it a minute here to let those poll results come in, and we'll share those poll results with everyone, just so we have an understanding as to what you're currently doing. Again, we see it all over the place where people or practices are paying a company to do this for them because someone's presented to them that they can't do it themselves. There are a lot of practices that currently really just quite frankly don't do anything with it. And then there are some practices that are trying to manage it themselves but are maybe not as productive as they could be because they don't exactly know what they're doing. So we'll give the poll results just a moment to come in, and we'll let VetStreet kind of announce those results for us just so we know what those results are. Do you have the poll results available?
So I just went ahead and posted the results. 18% are using an outside company, 66% are managing it themselves, and 27% are not doing anything at the moment.
Interesting. Very, very good. I'm excited to see that there are a majority of you that are managing it yourself. Those of you that are not doing anything at the moment, and those of you that are managing it yourself, we're going to go over 5 steps. Those 18% that are using an outside company to do this, I really want you to also pay attention to these 5 easy steps to understand that it doesn't take a company to do this for you. So the first thing when we talk about simplifying your online management, let's go over 5 steps that you can do in your practice very easily to manage your reputation online. And I say very easily, guys, I did work in a practice for just about 10 years. I do know what it's like to work in a busy practice. So I will never, ever provide you with 5 steps that I do not think can be achieved in the average busy veterinary practice. So these are 5 very simple steps that you can do to manage your online reputation. The first step is you have to claim your online listing with the biggest player in the game, which is Google. Then you want to claim your listing with other search engines like Bing, Yahoo, and Yelp. To claim your listing, all you have to do is easily search for your practice on each of these search engines or review-based websites. So search for your practice on Google, Bing, Yahoo, and then Yelp. Once you search for your practice and you find your listing, click on it. Once you do so, you're going to see something that says, is this your business, or claim your listing, or are you the business owner, or edit business information. Anything that's related to any of that I've just mentioned with you, click on that, and then make sure that you verify that you are indeed the owner of the listing. And a lot of these different search engines will either verify that you're the owner by calling the number that they have on file and providing a PIN number for you to type in, so you can verify it very instantly, or you can verify it via a postcard that's sent snail mail that will contain that PIN number, and again, that will be mailed to the business address. So these companies do use the proper methods to make sure that when someone's claiming a business, that it's actually the owner of the business that's claiming it. Once you claim your listing, I want you to set up alerts that are available to alert you about any information that is being posted about your practice, the owner, or the associates in your practice. So set up alerts. They're absolutely free. The most common alert system that's out there is Google Alerts. And you can learn more about Google Alerts by visiting google.com/alerts. Again, you can also use mention.com, which in my opinion is a little bit more aggressive than Google in terms of looking for information that's posted about your practice online. Either of these 2 services are free. Mention.net does offer a paid service that I do not believe you need to sign up for. You can get it by with just using their free service that they have. Either one or both, it never hurt to be a part of more than 2 companies that will look for information about your practice online, especially since they're free. Here's how it works. Basically, when you set up these alerts, the system is going to ask you for search queries, meaning that this is where you're going to type in the name of your practice, you're going to type in the owner of the practice, you're going to type in the name of all the associates that work in your practice. Any type of query that's related to your practice, you're going to want to type that in there. So basically what then happens is these 2 programs will go through the web every day, and they will look for any of these queries that come up online brand new. Meaning that if a new blog was created about your practice and they use the name of your practice or one of your owners or associates, was created online, then one of these two or both of these systems will send you alerts saying, hey, somebody wrote something about you online. Now, the biggest thing is that they actually have to use your name or any of the queries that you put in there. Again, it's a very free, and I say very free because we all like free. These are very free tools that you can use to set up alerts about your practice. This is like that that thing, that infomercial where it's set it and forget it. It's that same mentality. Once you set it up, you really don't ever have to go back and do anything with it again. So this is a one-time step. The step number 1 is also a one-time step. Step 3 and 4 and 5 are all things that you want to do on an ongoing basis, but again, very easily. So step 3 is where you're going to want to monitor your reviews manually. So basically, what I suggest all practices do is search for your practice online. Find your Google reviews page. I want you to find your Yelp review page. I want you to find your Yahoo review page, and then your Bing review page. I want you to find all of these pages where reviews may be posted about your practice online. Then what I want you to do is save all of these pages into a folder in your favorites that says My Online Listings, right? So you're going to create a folder in your browser. You're going to call it My Online Listings. So anytime that you want to review any of these websites, you literally open up your browser, you open up that folder, and you click on each one of those listings. All I'm asking you to do is to monitor your listings 1 to 2 times monthly. That's all. I don't want you to check it every day, every week, or anything like that. 1 to 2 times monthly is sufficient to where if you did have a review, good or bad, 1 to 2 times monthly does give you the ability to get back with that review in a timely manner. So again, save all of your online listings in your favorites folder in your browser, and then look at them 1 to 2 times monthly. And when I say, when people ask me who should do this in my practice, it shouldn't be the owner. It should be definitely either an administrator or a loyal, trustworthy employee in the practice, or hey, maybe just any receptionist up front that can easily look at this. So this way, if there is a new review posted, then we can proceed to step 4. Step 4 is where we're going to engage with these reviews. Now, it's important that I tell you this, that the average veterinary practice receives 1 review a month. That's the average. Most practices only receive 1 review every other month. Some practices only receive 1 review every quarter. Some practices only receive 1 review every year. But when we compile all the data together and look at all these veterinary practices at random, we see the average is 1 a month. So it's important for you to understand that when I tell you to engage with reviews, you're never going to be overwhelmed with such a process, right? Because you're not going to have a whole bunch of reviews left for you at one time, nor do you want a whole bunch of reviews left for you at one time either. So again, less than 1 review a month, if that in your case. I want you to reply to these reviews. So your clients who have left you positive reviews, it's important for you to acknowledge those reviews. It's not anything that the client expects by any means, but I want you to simply reply back and say, hey, thanks for your kind review. We appreciate you as one of our most valued, one of our valued clients. It's nice to give a pat on the back for the person that's going out of their way to say, thank you for being amazing and are letting the entire world know. So reply back to that review, the positive ones, and say, hey, thanks for that review. You don't have to write a story. You can just say thank you. If there's a negative review, then your reply should go a little something like, we apologize about your experience. We have not been able to reach you by telephone, assuming that you really haven't been able to. We would like to make this situation right with you. Please call our medical director at 123, whatever your phone number may be. It's important that you, if you do receive a negative review, that you simply pull a medical record and call that client. I really don't want you to try to get defensive when it comes to leaving a review online. Often the bigger person in any argument is the person that stands there, that doesn't get defensive and that just says, hey, I'm sorry we couldn't work this out. but if you want to talk about this, call me, or let's talk in a reasonable manner. So basically, if someone leaves you a negative review, don't get defensive. Reply back and say, hey, can you call us so we can talk about this? Or, hey, we've been trying to call you. And again, most importantly, you truly do want to do that. If they left you a review, make sure you call them via the telephone and then reply back. Practices that have received negative reviews that were able to contact that client and mediate the problem and make the situation right, were able to do two things. One, they were able to save that client from never going back to their practice because they've addressed their concern. And number two, they were able to have a negative review then removed because the client either removed it themselves or the practice said, hey, since we've made this right, would you mind either updating your review or removing it? So again, reply back to the negative and positive reviews. Again, you're only going to get an average of 1 a month. So you're going to spend really and truly no more than 5 minutes engaging with a review a month, unless, of course, you're receiving too many to be able to deal with. Now, I do have another poll, and that question is, what do you think the #1 search engine is? Do you think the #1 search engine in the world is Google? Do you think the #1 search engine is Bing? Or do you think the #1 search engine is Yahoo? There's a reason I asked this question, because one of these three is where you need to make sure that you spend the most time soliciting any type of reviews, or if you were going to solicit any reviews, there are one of these search engines that you should really solicit these reviews for. Again, do you think it's Google that's the largest search engine? Do you think Bing is the largest search engine? Or do you think Yahoo is the largest search engine? We'll give it a minute for this poll to close, and then we'll see what everyone thinks the #1 search engine is, and then we'll actually go over that, that #1 search engine and the value of soliciting reviews to this particular search engine, as well as how we can easily solicit reviews to the search engine as well. Do we have the responses yet?
We do. So 93% of you said Google is the #1 search engine, 4% said Bing, and 2% said Yahoo.
Very good. So those of you that have guessed Google, you are absolutely right. Reviews on Google, or actually let's kind of skip to the third bullet here. Google takes on 70% of the search engine market share. So 70, or it's actually just over 70% of people use Google when they research anything and everything, more specifically businesses. Reviews on Google are, in essence, then important to your business because this is where people are searching for businesses, and this is where they're likely to read reviews about your business. Bing and Yahoo only take on a small portion of all searches. In fact, Bing only contains 13% of the search engine market share, and then that's 13% of people that use it, and then take away whatever percentage of those people are searching for a veterinary practice. Same thing with Yahoo. Yahoo contains, I believe, less than 10% of the search engine market share. Now, the reviews, they're on Google. They can only be left by people who are Google users, meaning that there is no one that can syndicate any type of reviews to Google. And it's important that I mention this because there are a lot of practices and businesses that are misled into thinking that someone or some company can syndicate reviews to Google. And that's not true. Only people who are Google users can leave you a review on Google. They can't leave you a review on another website and then it's syndicated to Google. That is actually not true. Many years ago, I say many, I think it was about 2 years ago, Google prevented review syndication on their review-based website. So it's important that if you're going to solicit reviews, that you solicit reviews to your Google listing. So step 5, solicit positive reviews. What I tell practice is to follow these easy steps. First thing first, your receptionists are the best indicators to determine which of your clients is leaving with a positive experience. Your receptionist can tell whether someone had a fantastic experience by the body language, by facial expressions, or by what the client is verbally saying, how their visit went. Your receptionists know when someone's leaving and they're angry, or when they're sad, or when they may have not had a great experience. So what I tell practices to do is sense your receptionists are best indicators to understand who's happy. At the checkout, ask your reception team to ask your happy clients, the ones that are leaving visibly happy, if they would mind leaving you a review online. So basically, your receptionist should say something like, Mr. Garcia, we appreciate you as the client. Would you mind leaving us a review online? You know, we want happy clients like you to find us online easily. And then if the client says, absolutely, then your receptionist can then say, well, thank you. May I have your email address? And I'll send you a link with where to leave our review online, right? So if the client agrees to leave your review, don't just stop there, because if the client says yes, they'll leave you a review, and then you don't do anything to remind them or to direct them where to leave the review, the chances of them leaving the review are very slim. So if the client agrees to leave your review, then I want you to have a clipboard at your checkout counter. And if the client says, yes, I'd love to, then you collect that email address and you put it on the clipboard, or you allow the client to write their email address on the clipboard, whatever works for you. What I then want you to do is collect all of these email addresses, and either at the end of the week, or at the end of every 2 weeks, or at the end of the month, whatever time period you find to be realistic for your practice and how busy you are, or just any time there's downtime, I want you to send a mass email, and I'm going to show you exactly what email I want you to send by placing each of those email addresses in the BCC section of your email program, right? So type in all of those email addresses, and then I want you to take this template and copy and paste it into the body of that email. And basically this template says, Dear valued client, we appreciate you for trusting us with your pet's veterinary care. As a small business, we need as much help as we can get to help us with our online presence. Would you mind giving us a review on Google? It helps really happy clients like you to find us. To do so, you just need to go to this link and click the Write a Review button. At that point, this is where you're going to insert the link to your Google listing. And then for those clients that have never left a review online and need to understand how to do it, then this statement will apply to them. And the statement says, you will probably find this site really helpful in posting a Google review. So then they can click on that and find out how to leave you a review. And then it says, we greatly appreciate your willingness to leave us a review online. We look forward to serving you with your pet's health needs in the future. Warm regards, and then the name of your practice. So again, ask your receptionist, who's happy? Are those happy people willing to leave you a review? Collect their email address, type it into the program, copy and paste this template, and then go ahead and send it out to your clients. Now, practices then say, Eric, you said the average review we're going to get is once a month. If I start sending this to everyone, then I may get a lot more, 10, 15, 20 a month. And I will tell you that the reality is, of all the people that you send the email address or this email out to who agreed to share a review with you online, not every single person will end up leaving you a review online. You may find out that you send 10 emails within a week, and then only 1 or 2 people end up leaving your review. Or you may find that you send out 30 emails in a month and find out that only 5 or 6 people have left a review. Again, it doesn't become unmanageable for you to reply back to these reviews. So make sure that you send these emails to clients who have agreed to do so.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you everyone for attending VetStreet's webinar. During the live webinar, the audience was given the opportunity to ask Eric questions. We've included a link to the complete Q&A transcript on this webpage. If you are interested in learning more about VetStreet's new client acquisition program, please give us a call at 888-799-8387. Thank you.